Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. So let's start with the message. Sanjay ji, are you in a position to read the message, How to Love God?
Yes,
Please, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. How to love God. To love God, the most practical way is to love our fellow beings. We feel for others in the same way as we feel for our own dear ones. We love God. If instead of seeing faults in others, we look within ourselves, we are loving God. If instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves, help others, we are loving God. If we suffer the suffering of others and feel happy in the happiness of others, we are loving God. If instead of worrying over our own misfortunes, we think of ourselves more fortunate than many, many others, we are loving God. If we endure our lot with patience and contentment, accepting it as His will, we are loving God. If we understand and feel that the greatest act of devotion and worship to God is not to hurt or harm any of His beings, we are loving God. If we love to love God as He ought to be loved, we must live for God and die for God, knowing that the goal of all life is to love God and find Him as our own self. Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Avtar Meher
Karthik,
Baba
I
ki jai.
have a comment, if I may, before we start.
Yes.
This this is really good 7 messages. But number two, if instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves to help others, we are loving God. I mean, that is the meaning of lot of sacrifice and doing for others. I mean,
Correct.
it reminds me of Mother Teresa or many others, of course. But I've been influenced by Mother Teresa in Calcutta. She used to do selflessly, help people suffering, even give money to the poor and downtrodden, and a lot of things she used to do. So I'm just sharing, Jay Baba.
Thank you. Yeah. What comes to mind is different things when you listen and understand the message different times. So feel free to share. Thank you for sharing. So, like we were talking before we started recording, summer is well and truly here. It's gotten warm. Bangalore is in the 30s at 7:30 in the morning. So, yeah, it's warm, warm, warm. And yeah, but Baba is still in February in Andhra Pradesh, which will still be warm, but not as warm as where we are now. So we are in page 167, and we continue with the from the section "Share My Love Freely." So anybody wants to start the reading?
Yeah,
Ashok ji, are you?
I would be the opening batsman.
Yes, please go ahead.
Avatar,
Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
share my love freely. After a brief rest following lunch, the Mandli and the main Andhra Baba workers gathered in the traveler's bungalow. In spite of the night journey and the non-stop morning programs, Baba came out to sit with them. He looked radiant and charming, but he also seemed to be in a serious mood. Baba
Just
is
one, just 1 second, just 1 second. I think yes, correct. Yeah, please go ahead.
no,
I just
you
want to
stop.
check the numbering of this session. So we are in session number 80. So we can all pat ourselves in the back a little bit. It's more than a year and a half of reading one book once every week. So we have done, this is the 80th session that we are reading Bal Natu, but it's been such a joy of a book.
If you go back to the previous paragraph we started, there is it is enigmatic that Baba was looked charming. He looked radiant and charming, but he also seemed to be in a serious mood. So, I mean, there are many facets which we are about Baba, and it's really enigmatic that he can be radiant and charming, but also in a serious mood. So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's not easy for a human mortals, but he's got all that, the all powerful. It's intriguing.
Okay.
If I if I'm deviating, sorry.
No, it's okay. We can.
Baba instructed Y. Rangarao to include K. Subbarao in the list of those called for the important workers' meeting to be held on the 2nd of March. Referring to all of the darshan programs that had been held so far in Andhra, Baba conveyed, I am fed up with all this bowing down. The gods bow down to me so that what need is there for humans to do so. Baba explained that he wanted workers who did not just make a show of worship, but were willing to live and die for him.
Okay. So what does the expression gods bow down to me? Very rarely do you see Baba talk of a plural God, right? So he talks of infinite intelligence, he talks of formless, he talks of the form, the God with form. But very rarely do we see the expression gods. So this is interesting. I think it's more to do with the first line in that statement. He is fed up, so he's just he's tired of everybody troubling him with bowing down. So he just says something uh, lightly, I think.
There's another.
Any other interpretations or explanations that
Yeah,
others can think of?
I barged in. So there is God in all of us. I mean, in the sense that we are all uh, part of God, and we are all gods covered with dust of sanskaras. So we bow down to Him. So there is a God in everyone, is what I could. Is one way of interpretation.
I think he's just emphasizing.
Yeah, I think it's just
It's just the
emphasis
expression
and
used for emphasizing, you know.
yes,
That's all it
yes.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
Hyperbole, hyperbole. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
hype.
So
Yeah, I
whatever you
think it's
think
just
the best, I mean, for the crowd that is sitting in front of me and him,
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
if gods do that, so it's just like that.
yeah. Agree.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
The conversation then became more general, and slowly Baba's serious mood changed, and he kindled a light-hearted yet profound feeling in the assembly by reminiscing about his teenage days. The informal conversation continued, and someone said, Baba, when we tell people about you, they ask us what has happened to us in our lives since coming into the orbit of your love. Some of us feel hesitant to relate our personal experiences of your love, compassion, and divinity for fear that others will think we are trying to show off. But we don't mention our personal, but if we don't mention our personal experiences, then we're not doing full justice to your unconditional love. So, what do we do in such situations?
So, what do you think Baba's answer is going to be? So I've rolled it down. Let's discuss this question.
Don't worry and be happy.
You don't have a free pass like that. You should give me an opinion.
We are good for Sanjay, Mamaji.
So, as far as I am concerned, I feel in a group like ours, I express things. Otherwise, I keep to myself.
Yeah,
Mm.
actually, the question is that they ask you what is your personal experiences,
Yes,
and they expect you to tell you the stories of any miracles or any
yes,
unusual
yes.
conditions that passed. But many of the Baba lovers, at least I can say, these are not. This is something which is deep into the heart, and it's very difficult to. I mean, that the happiness you feel out of love for him or his love for you, and that is not related to any incidents, though we have those, but they are not the
Correct.
reason of our love. So is when we try to tell these stories, we seem to be belittling the whole thing actually. So it becomes very awkward position that we say, no, admission nahi ho raha tha, I was not getting a job and I got a job. I mean, this is this is something
Trivializing.
very, very frivolous actually. Yeah, these kinds of things.
Trivializing. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Trivializing is
Baba,
his
Baba
level,
says,
his
hmm.
level and his love for us. Yeah, Jai Baba.
So Baba
So
says, I am the highest of the high, and by asking me or expecting me to do miracles, you're reducing me to a fourth planer, right?
yes,
So it's
yes,
like something, I mean,
yes.
paraphrasing. I'm not exactly quoting, but
Yeah,
paraphrasing. But
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead. I just wanted a quick diversion to engage your minds. Yeah, continue.
Baba seemed pleased at this question and assured them all that when it came to sharing his love through creating personal experiences, one need not worry about being egoistical. Of course, Baba cautioned one should not exaggerate one's experiences for effect. One had to be honest in one's recounting and careful that the emphasis always was on Baba and not on the experience itself. Baba concluded as long as one is sincere and earnest, he, the avatar, would see to it that his lovers' egos do not become inflated. Hence, they should not worry but should freely share his love.
So those of you who are hesitating, I think just go ahead and share your stories. But remember, Baba's questions and answers, especially to groups like this, unless published specifically as a message, are to be super contextual, right? So he was addressing a set of people, or most likely the questioner, right? So we have to be very, very, always zoom out and take Baba's words and have a lot of reference for context before analyzing and understanding and applying what Baba says. It's very, very profound things, but very carefully we have to get the grain from the chaff. Yeah.
Yeah, Karthik. But if I may just add one more thing, when we are say in 5 kilometer radius of the Samadhi or just nearing, you know, Mehrabad, there is a magnetic field or what say, let's say not a magnetic field, some sort of a feeling we get like when we're just going to Mehrabad. So that, that is Baba's grace that we feel. I mean, many of us would have felt, or at least I feel that, when we approaching Mehrabad, say the 5 kilometers from that bridge, whatever that place where you turn right. So there is a feeling of some sort of a pull or a magnetism.
वो राइट सब गया अभी अभी बड़ा रोड बन गया ब्रिज बन गया so you don't even have to go to kinetic choke if you're coming from Pune.
Oh,
So you turn at the bypass, and if you indeed come to kinetic choke, the one last bridge that was not ready even in Amartithi is finally ready. So there's an old unused railway line cutting across Nagar, I mean the road to Arangaon, right? And there was a huge overbridge coming up. Now it's done. So I mean, you wouldn't recognize this road if you had come after 10 years. It's so nice now from Kinetic Chowk to Dhuni.
agreed. So what
Yeah.
I was trying to say is that there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
some
I'm just
aura,
giving you situational updates
yeah,
of last week.
yeah,
Yeah,
big updates. Yes, good, good.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, uh, Baba then went on to explain the ego's tricks in some detail, observing there is a world of difference between modesty and humility. Modesty is weakness, but humility is strength. The moment you say, it's not my ego, or in all humility I say, that very expression is egoistical. No sooner is humility given expression in words, that is no longer humility. The life of humility is to be lived spontaneously, and it should not give rise to any thoughts either about humility or modesty. Wow.
That is very, very profound. And I think if you go back to the instances where you've heard this expression, either from others or if you find yourself saying it, if you actually think about it, it's an expression of ego, right? And if you go back and analyze those instances, quite often that's what we are doing. So true humility, true humility is lived spontaneously, and it should not give rise to any thoughts either about humility or modesty. It's very, very, very. I mean, ego is truly a multi-headed hydra, right? To use Baba's words. Okay, let's continue. The message is not over, so Baba continues.
Yeah.
Sorry for pausing that.
To try to be humble is humble. You must be so natural that your life becomes humility personified, which is then all strength and free from any weaknesses. Be natural, whatever you are. Express it unmindful of the reaction of others. If you are dishonest, don't try to hide yourself behind the curtain of honesty. That, however, does not mean that you should be dishonest. What I want to say is that you should be most natural rather than be the least bit hypocritical. The previous year, while staying at the traveler's bungalow, Baba had given a discourse which was later included in God Speaks. Baba's comments on modesty and humility given at this time later formed the theme for Baba's message, Meher Baba's Call, which was given out 7 months later during the Mass Darshan program at Ahmednagar. What there are about the what there was about the travelers bungalow, I don't know, but it seemed to prompt Baba to give vital discourses. Have we come across this message, Meher Baba's Call? I
Yes, it's a famous message. There's a video and this. Yeah.
perhaps we can revisit that anyway offline. Help us enthrone you in our hearts. After the explanation of modesty, it was time for the afternoon darshan program. Baba arrived at the pandal about 3:30, embracing one of his lovers who wasn't feeling well. Baba had the man sit on the dais near him. Baba took his seat and looked over the crowd with his indescribable look of compassion. A soft radiance seemed to emanate from Baba, which blew every eye to him and made all else fade into the background. A special intimacy was created by the fact that for those gazing at Baba, nothing else had any importance. While Baba's glance seemed to rest on each individual in the crowd, emphasizing this intimate relationship. On such occasions, Baba seemed to dole out his love in an even greater degree than usual. In this, in this intense atmosphere of divine love, made manifest a welcome address on behalf of the Tadepalli Guru, the Tadepalli Guru Center was read out glorifying Baba. Except exper- excerpts of it are given below. Lord of the universe, we beg to pay our most humble homage on the occasion of your 60th birthday anniversary, which you have graciously allowed us to celebrate at this place. Though unborn and imperishable, you are pleased. I'll read again. Though unborn and imperishable, you are pleased to assume a human form when the evolutionary and involutionary process requires periodic quickening of consciousness through the physical presence on earth of the avatar. As pure love, which is the keynote and the very heart of your teaching, now finds no place in the heart of humanity. You as avatar, avatar Purush are experiencing spiritual agony for the world's travail in its separation from divine love. Blessed will be humanity if it can facilitate rapid results by practicing complete surrender to your divine will and unflinching readiness to carry out your orders. Karthik, I think that last paragraph is worth underlining. Can we go back again? Can I read again? And there is a lot of message in this, especially what the world is going through right now. As pure love, which is the keynote and the very heart of your teaching, now finds no place in the heart of humanity. You, as Avatar Purush, are experiencing spiritual agony for the world's travail in its separation from divine love. Blessed will be humanity if it can facilitate rapid results by practicing complete surrender to your divine will and unflinching readiness to carry out your orders. Any comments?
Yeah, it's a very beautifully worded message. Yeah,
And it is relevant for today's times also.
true.
After this, a few other addresses were also read out. This afternoon program was considerably longer than the morning one. One of the many things that were happening on the stage, the songs,
No, I
messages.
think
Sorry,
you missed one paragraph. We have now
oh, yeah,
enthroned.
my bad. Yeah. We have now enthroned you in this temporarily improvised pavilion of ours, but we ever crave for your love and blessings to enthrone you eternally in our hearts, to be in the world, yet not of it, and to enable us to see you everywhere as the immanent Lord of the universe.
So I don't know if this was originally translated and reproduced here by Bal Natu or was translated by him. But either way, it's very, very beautifully done, and it captures all the things that Baba has said about avatarhood very, very clearly. Very nice.
And perhaps my missing it was to highlight that part.
Yeah, I can actually do the whole thing. This is very beautiful, though unborn and imperishable. Oops. Okay.
After this, a few other addresses were read out. This afternoon program was considerably longer than the morning one. Out of the many things that were happening on the stage, the songs, messages, darshan, I wish to include one little incident that highlights Baba's instantaneous response to the silent cry of a yearning heart. Story within a story. There was a good musician in the crowd, a singer who had met Baba at Machilipatnam and been fortunate enough to sing for him there. He had wanted to sing for Baba on his birthday too, but the program had already been chalked out, and as it was a full one, no time could be made for him. Naturally, he was very disappointed. He walked a bit away from the crowd, and as he was standing there thinking about Baba, his love for Baba welled up in his heart, and without even being aware of it, he started weeping. Perhaps in answer to this silent upsurge of love, under some pretext, Baba got up from the platform and walked to where the musician was standing. The man looked up and was startled to see Baba so close to him. Baba just gestured that he could bow down to him if he so wished. The singer did so, and then Baba conveyed, "Now go back to your home and attend to your family duties. Do not worry. Come to see me when I come near your village." Completely satisfied, the person went back to his home, and when Baba visited a nearby town, not only did he get the chance to again have Baba's darshan, but he was also allowed to sing to him as well. In later years, he would offer his services many times at public events, glorifying Baba as the avatar of the age through his songs and music.
రవి గారు ఎవరండి? ఎవరండి బాబా లవరు?
Sorry,
Who is this? Sorry,
No,
I
no,
just came.
oh, okay. No, 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 no. There was a story, so I was wondering if you know this singer and the episode that's being talked about in Andhra.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I had some problem, so I had to go and come back just now.
Oh, okay, no problem, no
Can you
problem.
read that again, please?
yeah, we'll read it
No, I'll
again.
just tell you quickly. So basically, there's one singer Baba lover who was not given a chance to sing, and he was very, very upset and standing outside, away from the crowd. And Baba,
Hmm.
on some pretext, actually gets off the dais, goes very close to him, and says, if you want, you can bow down to me. And then he says, go back satisfied and come and meet me when I come again closer to your village. I think probably this was much further away from his village. And then he goes away very, very pleased and gets an opportunity to sing again in front of Baba and then sing many times as well. So I was wondering
Hmm.
if you know of this person. Anyway, it
No,
doesn't
no,
matter.
I don't. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Sorry, I don't.
It's yeah. We can actually also rotate the reading if because the section that's drawing to a close.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Ashokji. Anybody
Thank
who
you.
wants to read?
I just want to add that that's a uh, that's a enigma. Who is that person? If anybody
Yeah,
comes, we can discuss maybe sometime later.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I can read, Karthik. Hmm.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Jai Baba. Thank you,
Jai Baba.
Ashokji.
Behold him come, the Son of God. Just as Baba's birthday was being celebrated at Tadepalligudam, halfway around the world, in New York City, Baba's birthday was being celebrated in the editorial offices of the Awakener magazine. Baba's message on real death and real birth was read out, as was Darwin Shaw's article, A Birthday Remembrance, excerpts of which are quoted below. Although Baba is just completing his 60th year, there is so much about him that is timeless, that it is difficult for us to think of him in terms of age. The great being behind that face and form we know and love so dearly is, as we are sure, not measurable by the passage of time, but is as immortal as the divine love with which we identify him. In celebrating Baba's birthday, therefore, we are really celebrating the return to earth of love divine in the form of a man we can see, love, and with whom we can communicate. A being who has ages since completed the long evolutionary and involutionary process of the soul through numerous cycles of lives from the original state of unconscious divinity to the final state of fully realized godhood. This is Baba. Where is it?
Yeah.
This is Baba, our spiritual master, eternal friend, and divine beloved. We have found in him the living beauty of all our highest hopes, and we have experienced through his grace a precious taste of the divine nectar, which is indeed the true Pinakia. Pinakia? Yes,
Panacea.
Pinakia.
Panacea is a
Asia.
medicine. It's a medicine for all diseases. A single
I
dose
see.
that gives you a cure for everything.
Okay. Panacea for all the suffering, disillusionment, and Mayavic ignorance, which in one way or another besets all humanity. And this divine nectar is the touch of the Master's boundless compassion, which has somehow, in mysterious ways known only to him, found us in our far corners of the earth and awakened some measure of our slumbering consciousness from the darkened dreams of life, as seen through the distorted vision of our own selfhood.
Jay, Jay, Jay Baba, I just
Hmm,
wanted to uh, highlight that the supplement, God Speaks supplement, number 19, page 238, real birth and real death. Actually, in times when we lose a very dear one, or when I lost my mother in COVID, so this beautiful group, Kama, actually pointed out to that supplement. It's a one-page supplement everybody should read. Page 238, God Speaks.
very good,
Jai Baba.
Jay Baba.
Yeah,
We
Baba.
have found in we have found in him uh, we-
To Baba.
through
Yeah.
through Baba we have been touched by a love too great for us to comprehend, much less ever to have deserved. We have come to him in various ways, sometimes groping, some often wondering, but always with faith and longing. And he has taken us into his infinite heart, where we have found the secret highway to God. Interesting. Mm. We have discovered that Baba works through the very fabric of our prosaic everyday lives to reveal an ever greater measure of the spiritual splendor of his true being, and through inwardly drawing closer to the unveiled reality we discern in him, we find that the way has become clearer, easier, and more sure. As the messianic avatar of the ages, Baba again comes forth to succor the great need of the immortal spirit of man. As such, he leads the way out of the labyrinthine maze of selfhood's false impressions and declares with divine authority the true nature of man and the real goal of life. Strange as it may seem to those who do not know, we have found that through loving Baba, we are actually loving God, and that His love leads us into the inner mysterious mystery of the ocean of divine love that God really is. This is the key to one of the most beautiful and overwhelming of all mystical experiences. For when we love and inwardly keep company with the God realized Master, we in turn become the recipients of His immeasurably greater love. And this outpouring is more than the hard shelled ego can bear. So it begins to die. But that dying is actually the beginning of life, for it is the beginning of the annihilation of the false by being in the conscious presence of the real. Wow, what an expression.
Very, 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 very beautiful
Ac-
language and very
Yeah,
beautiful explanation. And so reminder of what Sanjay ji commented
yeah,
on my question.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah. I was about to say, I feel we must read this several times and get into our mind the gist of it to answer a
Mm.
situation like that. What did you
correct.
experience?
What did you get from Baba?
Yeah, and this anybody who has a real seeker will be helped by a gist of this answer. What are these texts that we read? Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Mm.
very very beautiful. So, Jai Baba.
Jai
Can we read it again?
Very long.
Yeah, we can.
Baba.
So this is again the message uh, at the Awakener meeting in New York.
In
So,
New York, Darwin Shaw, right? Darwin
yeah,
Shaw's
Darren
article.
Shaw. Where does it
He wrote
start?
the article about that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In celebrating Baba's birthday.
In
Wait a second.
celebrating Baba's
Wait. No,
birthday,
no, no.
No,
Before
no,
that.
it
Yeah,
starts
here.
previous
Yeah, it's
paragraph.
here. Yeah.
uh,
Although,
Although, yeah.
uh, although Baba is just completing his 60th year, there is so much about him that is timeless, that it is difficult for us to think of him in terms of age. The great being behind that face and form we know and love so dearly is, as we are sure, not measurable by the passage of time, but is as immortal as the divine love with which we identify him. Non duality in our thinking, that's what he says. We always think duality,
Yeah.
but
So, like Sanjay ji said, we have
mm,
to keep reading this and keep our knives sharp for that question from a genuine seeker. And very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful
very
expression.
in celebrating Baba's birthday, therefore, we are really celebrating the return to earth of love divine in the form of a man we can see, love, and with whom we can communicate. A being who has ages since completed the long evolutionary and involutionary process of the soul through numerous cycles of lives, from the original state of unconscious divinity to the final state of full realized godhood. This is Baba, our spiritual master, eternal friend, and divine beloved. Wow. We have found in him the living beauty of all our highest hopes, and we have experienced, through his grace, a precious taste of the divine nectar, which is indeed the true panacea for all the suffering, disillusionment, and Mayavic ignorance which, in one way or another, besets all humanity. And this divine nectar is the touch of the Master's boundless compassion, which has, somehow, in mysterious ways, known only to him, found us in our far corners of the earth and awaken some measure of our slumbering consciousness from the darkened dreams of life, as seen through the distorted vision of our own selfhood. Very well expressed.
Yeah, good.
True, Baba, we have been touched by a love too great for us to comprehend, much less ever to have deserved. I always feel that. I don't know what I
All of
did in
us
my
do, yeah.
previous lives, but do I really deserve Baba's love? We have come to
This
him
is,
in various ways. Sometimes groping. Of what is meaning of groping, Karthik?
Yeah, groping in the
uh,
dark, we say, right?
yeah,
So we are
exactly.
trying to explore something trying to find out something, groping around without knowing what we are doing and what we are searching,
Hmm.
Feel about, search blindly or
blindly search.
uncertainly with the hands.
Yeah, blind
Oh,
search.
yeah, yeah. Often wondering, but always with faith and longing. And he has taken us into his infinite heart, where we have found the secret highway to God. We have discovered that Baba works through the very fabric of our prosaic everyday lives to reveal an ever greater measure of the spiritual splendor of his true being, and through inwardly drawing closer to the unveiled reality we discern in him, we find that the way has become clearer, easier, and more sure. As the messianic avatar of the ages, Baba again comes forth to succor the great need of the immortal spirit of man. As such, he leads the way out of the labyrinthine maze of selfhood's false impressions and declares with divine authority the true nature of man and the real goal of life. Strange as it may seem to those who do not know, we have found that through loving Baba, we are actually loving God, and that His love leads us into the inner mystery of the ocean of divine love that God really is. This is the key to the one of the most beautiful and overwhelming of all mystical experiences. For when we love and inwardly keep company with the God realized Master, we in turn become the recipients of His immeasurably greater love. And this outpouring is more than the hard shelled ego can bear. So it begins to die. But that dying is actually the beginning of life, for it is the beginning of the annihilation of the false by being in the conscious presence of the real. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. The following lines of Kabir have been quoted by Baba, constantly repeating thy name. I became one with thee. Nothing was left of me. Self. How can I sing thy praise, O Guru mine? Wherever I cast my eyes, I perceive thee and nothing else. Wow. That is the requirement to get God realization, I guess.
Yes.
The self has to be completely gone. So you see God, you see your Guru. With this as the pattern of our devotion, may our birthday remembrance to Baba be a greater effort to understand and more deeply appreciate the incomparable importance of his life as it touches ours. And let us, in all sincerity, have the courage, the humility, and the faith to let go of every shade of self centered ignorance. And truly, wholeheartedly set forth on the glorious path of love and truth to the highest of the high. Wow.
Darwin
Darwin.
Shaw was such a special soul, and he
Mm,
has done great service in not just with his physical form and
mm,
actions, but also with his
mm.
writing. I joined a group reading of Effort and Grace, and it's such a
So,
deep book that I'm sure some of you might have encountered reading sessions on YouTube.
mm,
So it's a guide to understanding and living the Baba life. So very, very beautiful book. Yeah.
yeah, I had a great fortune of listening to him when
Okay.
he gave a talk in Myrtle Beach when I was there. Yeah. Returning to the narration of events at Padapilligudam on the evening of 25th, there was yet another program, this time mostly of dance. At 7:30, Baba came to the pandal, and shortly after, a dance was performed for him by Dharmarao's two daughters. One enacted the role of Krishna, the other of Radha. I just want to tell you a small story connected with these. One of the girls, um, once I happened to go to Mehrabad. It so happened the Alaba passed away, uh, whenever it was. And we had the fortune to attend his funeral and everything. Uh, it was very interesting. It's all sunny. And around 4 o'clock or so, they dug a big pit uh, and then they put him in a box and the ropes were tied and we were all gathered around it, about 150, 200 people. And interestingly, out of blue, it was sunny. Suddenly, this cloud comes and few drops of rain fell on him. I thought, oh, Baba, a
Wow.
miracle you have done. Uh, During the same trip, we stayed in the Pilgrim Center, not MPR, uh, Pilgrim Center, Lower Mehrabad. So one afternoon, I was sitting. There's another Indian. So we was talking to him. He happened to be the son of one of the girls of Dharmarao. And then I was talking to him, what you doing? I told him what I was doing in US. And then he was telling me he did his doctorate and he was doing residency. And I did not know what happened. He had a fight with his wife. And he also, I don't know what happened to his residency. He broke off and came to India. And then we were just talking. We thought, let's go for a walk. And we walked all around around Upper Mehrabad Hill. And I think we went and took the darshan of Baba in the afternoon, like 3 o'clock or 3:30, something like that. And then we came back and had tea and then dispersed. We to exchange our phones. And then we came back. After 1 week, suddenly I get a phone call from him. And then he tells me, Ravi Garu, I'm very thankful to you. You have helped me to get the clarity. Um, I've come back and joined my residency and joined my wife. You know, we did not, he just told me, I said, okay, okay. I just listened to him. And I don't know what I said. For sure, I did not address how to get back to your residency and how to get back to your wife. We just walked around the for Mehrabad. We just chit chat, very normal talk. Then I felt, oh my God, I don't know why he thinks it's Baba who did it, and he thinks I did it. I thought that's an interesting experience, but he never contacted me after. I'm sure he's settled somewhere in the US.
Yeah.
And he happens to be one of the daughter of one of these two girls. They danced.
That
Jai
is
Baba.
why in Sanatana we say the importance of the satsang,
Mm.
being with the wise men,
Sahavas.
the sahvas,
Sahavas.
satsang, sahvas. It's not just about the topic that you discuss or talk that you do. It's just the presence of the person around makes a lot of changes. That's why
Mm.
everybody tries to go near somebody who is good, to say least, nice person, good person, spiritually advanced person. And many go to saints and valis and of course to avatar and just by the presence. Baba was silent, he was not speaking, but the presence was feeling all this, making
Yeah.
changes, internal changes. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah.
Good, good. So please come and meet us. Jai Baba.
Yes. Let Baba work through you with us as well.
I don't take even 1 cent of
No, no, no.
credit for this.
That is why you are a saint, right? You're not doing, but Baba is getting it done to you without even you knowing it. Jai Baba. Jai Baba Ravi. Jai Baba. That's great story. Yeah.
Saint Ravi.
I hope my wife believes that. She doesn't believe. Okay. Baba enjoyed seeing his past Leela enacted, and he called the girls to him and expressed his loving appreciation of their dance. Then, looking at those around him, he added, on the 2nd of March, remind me to explain about my dance. I have not yet explained my first original dance. However, as it turned out, during the momentous meeting, no one remembered to ask Baba about his first original dance, and so it still has not been explained.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
sad.
There is a Siva dance, right? Does any of you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No.
No,
What is the
so
dance?
it's a
Nataraja
symbology.
in his
Yeah, it's
form of
just
Nataraja. Yeah, the divine
Hmm.
dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
so uh,
Shivatandavam.
correct.
Ravi, you're
So
referring to Tandav, is it? Tandav dance.
Shivatandavam.
No,
Yeah, explain.
Tandav is different.
Shivatandavam.
Yeah.
Tandav, yeah. Tandav is during the alienation process.
Yeah, inhalation process,
Yeah,
correct.
alienation process. The Mahapralaya. But I
Yeah.
think this is the dance that was is a creation during that period.
so it's actually
Hmm.
a little more nuanced. It's basically cyclical, and the
Yeah,
representation of the dance of Shiva represents
Hmm.
the creation as well as destruction.
yeah,
And the it also connects to multiple things. If you look at Bible, Bible also says in the beginning there was the word, and
Hmm.
in the theology around the dance of Shiva, the damaru plays a very important role. The sound of the
Hmm.
damaru is what starts all of the creation, right? And
Hmm. Hmm.
the sound of the damaru of Shiva, right? So
Hmm.
it's a very deep and profound symbology. Best written, if you remember, in um, Francis Brabazon's book. What was the poem we read? I'm trying to not
stay
able to
with God.
remember the. Yeah,
Stay with
Stay
God.
with God. In Stay with God,
Stay with
he
that.
refers
Hmm.
to Anand Kumaraswamy's book,
Yes.
Dance of Shiva,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Yeah, he's
yes.
so that is one of the best references for this Puranic symbology. But it's a tragedy that Baba didn't explain his dance and people forgot, but
Yeah,
maybe there's a purpose there as well.
yeah, yeah. Postponed for the next visit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Karthik, you mentioned uh, creation and destruction, and also preservation comes, right? Creator,
correct.
the preserver, destroyer. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So in between, so every moment in between is Lack of preservation.
Yeah, yeah. So during preservation, he's making us dance.
Yes.
We are dancing around things.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So, in between making us tumble
Dance with
here and
tunes.
there and think it is
Yeah,
dance.
yeah. As
Yeah,
as
exactly.
as Iraj puts it, in his talks, we need to learn to dance to his tunes to become a good dancer. We all have to become good dancers. Keep dancing to his tunes happily,
Yeah.
whatever happening with us. That's another reference of dance.
Jai Baba.
For us
Yeah.
to follow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So we can
after the
also
last dance
rotate.
performance,
Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Yeah.
Finish this paragraph for me.
Okay, sure. After the last dance performance, there was fireworks display, the highlight of which was when the fiery explosion spelled out in the bright colors, Avatar Meher Baba. This was a glorious termination to the birthday celebration of the one who is birthless and deathless. Jai Baba.
Yeah. So we can rotate the reading. Anybody else wants to come in? Thank you, Raviji, for reading.
I will read for 10 minutes or
Sure.
so.
Please go ahead. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Josephine Rolas met Meher Baba during his first visit to States in 1931 at Hormone on Hudson. She was captivated by his divine love. In the subsequent years, her love for Baba inspired her to write many beautiful poems, some of which were published in Meher Baba Journal, and I remember reading them and being touched. In her poem to Baba the Awakener, she writes, "He who glows within the rose, he who very mystery knows, he who comes like gentle rain, soothing all our earthly pain. The true awakener of the heart, who can see the whole within the part, who raises man above the earth, renewing him in mystic birth, renewing him in mystic birth, reborn, renewing. Okay. A flame, a fairy, a flame, a fire, a perfect flower, a penetrating cosmic power, a cleaving sword to strive away the crudities of mortal clay, a cleaving sword to strike away the crudity of mortal clay. He who glows within the rose, he who every mystery knows, on the path where saints have trod, behold him come, the Son of God.
Wow. Very, very beautiful.
Uh,
So that comes from Meher Baba Journal, Volume 3, number 9, page 519. Very, very beautiful poem. So the visualization is of a rose, and then she goes back to the rose in the end, but then she brings out all aspects of Avatar. Hey, next chapter.
Shama,
Jai Baba, could you please read it again with this last paragraph?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the poem itself. Yeah, why not?
yes.
Yeah, Jai Baba, thank you.
He who glows within the rose, he who every mystery knows, he who comes like gentle rain, soothing all our earthly pain, the true awakener of the heart, who sees the whole within the part, who sees the whole within the part, who rises man above the earth, renewing him in mystic birth, a flame, a fire, a perfect flower, a penetrating cosmic power, a cleaving sword to strike away the crudity of mortal clay. This is a very, uh, very awakening,
Powerful
powerful
phrase. Yeah.
sentence. Yes. A cleaving sword to strike away the crudities of mortal clay. He who blows within the rose, he who every mystery knows, on the path where saints have trod, behold him come the Son of God.
Yeah, by the way, I like that line as well the most. A cleaving sword to strike away the crudities of mortal clay.
Clay.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Beautiful poem. Such so much depth in this. And still
Yes.
it like it's so floral. It flows. You understand what he's saying. It's
Yeah.
it the facts are hard hitting, but it is very tender.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Beautifully described.
the last two lines also trace the path, the trod of the path, maybe sainthood, and he is beyond all sainthood, avatar. On the path where saints have trod, behold him come, the Son of God.
Very, very good. Thanks for requesting a reread. I hope everybody enjoyed the reread and
Jai Baba.
visualized
Jai
and the
Baba.
way you
As
described
dictated
it,
by Baba.
deep, no, 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 deep and tender at the same time. Very, very correct way of looking at this. Very
Jai
beautiful.
Baba.
Thank you. Thank you, Josephine Ross.
Shama Parwana and Some Memorable Incident, 1954, Part 9. Divine Shama, the illusion consuming flame. The illusion consuming flame.
So it's the story of the moth and the flame, right? So it's a
Uh,
very
uh,
frequently used Sufi
uh,
symbology, where the union is when the moth gets burned
yes,
by the flame. It's attracted to the flame and then it goes to the flame, knowing it's so attracted but gets eventually destroyed. Yeah.
on the morning of February 26th, the day after Meher Baba's birthday, the Mandli gathered in his presence. Baba told Ramju that he wished to say something on Naz and Niyaz. He asked whether Krishna Singh, who had been given the duty of keeping an account of Baba's second Andhra visit, was there. As it turned out, Kishan was still in the school building where the Mandli were lodged. Hearing this, Baba looked a little annoyed and gestured, during this tour, whenever I have the urge to say something, something goes wrong. There is some sort of disturbance. The microphone malfunctions, or the ones whom I expect to be present are not there. One of the Mandli quietly slipped out and hurried over to the school building to tell Kishan that Baba wanted him, and very soon Kishan arrived. Before beginning the discourse, Baba glanced around the room. The look in Baba's eye made all fall silent in anticipation of what he was about to say. The next moment, Baba's graceful fingers sped over his board, and the message on Nas and Niyaz began. My hand automatically reached for my pen to take notes. I have taken the liberty of editing my notes taken at that time in the light of explanations Baba gave us later, such as his illuminating statement that the avatar becomes and the Sadguru acts. So the following is not a verbatim rendering, but is the edited version of the notes I took at this time. Baba conveyed Today, I want to tell you something about two Urdu words, Naz and Niyaz. In the past, enlightened Sufi poets used these terms as well as Shama and Parwana. These terms have now become quite common in poetry, but the real esoteric meaning behind them has been lost. Uh, uh, can you raise it a bit? Nas, also known as Nakra, Nakara, uh,
I think it's
Nas,
nakra because
Nakra.
the meaning suggests it's nakra.
Yes.
Yeah. Nakra mat karo.
Nas, also known as Nakra, refers on the human level to the caprices or whims of the beloved expressed in the relationship with the lover. In this game of love, the whims of the beloved often change before the lover can fulfill them. Thus, the beloved ever remains unsatisfied, and his or her nas continually display its various facets. Sufis regard a Sufis regard a kutub, Sadguru or perfect master as the perfect personification of nas, as one filled with divine nas. This is because the perfect master is infinitely indifferent. One may wonder how God, who is the source of everything, and a perfect master who is God personified, can be indifferent, cold, and uncaring. His infinite independence makes this impossibility possible. His infinite independence makes this impossibility possible. Even on the ordinary human level, the beloved can be indifferent to the lover. The divine beloved perfect master, who is the very ocean of love, also can appear indifferent and callous towards his lover. Yet the life of each lover is totally dependent upon the master's every nas, whim. But there is a difference between the nas of the divine beloved and the nas of an ordinary beloved. The whim of the latter gratifying the beloved's ego. They are used to demonstrate the control the beloved has over the lover. The nas of the divine beloved, however, is the medium through which the lover is helped to become free of the limitations of the ego. This point was explained. This point was explained more fully when Baba began to discourse on Shama and Parvana. But before continuing with this, I would like to interject here a brief, profound exposition Baba dictated later that year. God is absolutely independent and the universe is entirely dependent on Him. Between God and the universe, infinite mercy and unbounded love act as a prominent link which is eternally made use of by men who become God or by God whom becomes man. Uh, by men who become God or by God who becomes man. Okay, avatar. God's indifference, therefore, is only apparent, and God's independence is such that He is able to even use that indifference as a medium for the infinite mercy and unbounded love, which is the link between His independent state and the universe.
Can somebody explain the last paragraph? I mean, there's a lot of message in that.
Yes, the whole passage is needs
Yeah,
to
it's
be
very deep, very deep.
repeatedly read.
So yeah, so he's
God,
referring to an indifference,
uh,
indifference as a medium for infinite mercy and unbounded love. which he says is the link between his independent state and the universe. So God appears indifferent, indifferent as in whimsical and changing his mind and doing what is called as nas, because he's using that indifference to work on your ego. So that's mentioned here. If you go back, um, reject.
The Nas of my beloved.
Yeah, see here, the nas of the divine beloved, however, is the medium through which the lover is helped to become free of the limitations of the ego. So the now again, there's two levels of coverage Bal Natu is doing on this. The perfect master uses nas, and the avatar also uses nas. But the perfect master is naturally indifferent, whereas God uses this indifference to work on the ego. And that acts as the link between the independent state and the universe. Let's continue. Then maybe if we don't understand, we will come back and read it. Is that okay?
Yeah. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But this is perhaps made even more explicit in the reminder of Baba's discourse, which is given below. Baba continued, now what is niyaz? Niyaz literally means supplication or prayer, but in its true sense, it refers to the lovers dancing to every tune of the perfect master, divine beloved, Nas. This requires great preparedness on the part of the lover to live wholly and solely for the beloved and not for one's own self. It is not easy to respond cheerfully to the beloved's Nas. Those lovers who are able to lead such a life are rare. Now, there is another aspect to this game of love, which is even more profound. Shama literally means the flame of a candle. It is used to symbolize the all consuming life of God as lived by the avatar. The avatar's lover is likened to a moth Parvana. As the avatar God, the infinite reality assumes a human body, puts on the cloak of illusion. As soon as the avatar dons this cloak, the suffering of the world devolves upon him. So the avatar, who is infinite bliss, infinitely suffers. So this is a paragraph. I think I need to read it once again.
Yeah, sure.
As the avatar God, the infinite reality assumes a human body, puts on the cloak of illusion. As soon as the avatar dons this cloak, the suffering of the world devolves upon him. So the avatar, who is infinite bliss, infinitely suffers.
So if I can pause you, this is again a comment which underlines what Bal Natu said before starting this coverage, where he said that he is going with the God speaks and discourses final words on Avatar and Perfect Master, where the Avatar experiences, whereas the Perfect Master acts. Right. So that's what is coming out in this paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why does the avatar suffer in and through the cloak of illusion? Or why does the divine Shama keep burning? It is in order that others who are trapped in their cloaks of illusion might become as free as God the infinite. In fact, the avatar, as the eternal divine beloved, experiences the suffering of the world as his own. In fact, the avatar, as the eternal divine beloved, experiences the sufferings of the world as his own. People suffer for innumerable reasons, physical and mental. But this suffering, as it revolves around desires rooted in illusion, binds those who suffer even more tightly to illusion. Binds those who suffer even more tightly to illusion. Therefore, this kind of suffering is termed illusory suffering because such suffering is grounded in illusion. The avatar, however, wants to free people from their suffering, so he wants to make them suffer for God. This suffering is known as real suffering because it loosens the bindings of people's sanskaras, mental impressions. The avatar, however, wants to free people from their suffering, so he wants them to suffer for God. Suffer for God. That's the most important part here. This suffering is known as real suffering because it loosens the binding of people's sanskaras, mental impressions.
So, if I may make a quick comment, so it's like the illusory suffering is when you're not yet on the spiritual path and just going through ups and downs of life. The downs are the suffering that is coming out of illusion. Whereas once the avatar takes charge of you, or you start making progress towards the divine beloved, he gives you the suffering for God. And that's where you will help in your sanskaric journey. That's what I'm getting from
Yes,
this.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
very well. But we can simply say suffering, the real, I mean, when you suffer for uh, coming close to God is a benediction. You had told me earlier, remember?
suffering is a benediction. Absolutely. I didn't say it. Baba said it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So actually, there's one more line. I'm sorry. I
Yes,
stopped to comment.
Oh,
And leads them to reality.
to reality.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
real suffering leads to reality.
Correct. The real suffering leads you to bigger reality.
Yeah.
I know you said 10 minutes, but I think you better continue this. Yeah, please.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
How does the avatar bring this about? He burns his own cloak of illusion, which is his constant crucifixion, so that others' illusory cloak will also be burned. And the brilliance of the avatar's Shama attracts the moth Parvana. The avatar burns his cloak of illusion to attract his lovers to him. He suffers infinitely, and this suffering draws his lovers to him. Once his lovers are drawn to him, his naws may make them suffer, but this suffering is real suffering, as it frees them from all suffering and eventually unites them with God.
Wow. It's just amazing.
Amazing.
So, what we are all experiencing right now is Naz. So Baba
Uh,
is giving us nakras, but it is real suffering. Very, very beautiful.
the life of the avatar is an illusion consuming flame. Illusion consuming flame. The avatar's lovers, like moths, gather hovering about him, the flame. That is, him is the flame. A few are even so possessed by love that they fly into the flame and burn themselves, their false self, and so experience the I am God state. To be so consumed by love, however, depends upon the grace of the avatar. Okay. So
So,
how
even
here
to become the moth and go into the flame, you
yes,
need the grace of the avatar.
grace of the avatar.
So, very
As Ba
interesting analogy and explanation of the moth and the flame, but more interestingly, the Nas and Nias.
Neha.
So, yeah,
As Baba finished, he put the alphabet board on his lap, holding it gracefully between his fingers while a profound silence settled over the room. Baba, the divine Shama, the illusion-consuming flame, looked so resplendent that all eyes were centered on the radiance of his face, and all hearts were moved by his compassion and his sacrifice in suffering for the whole world.
Beautiful. I think we can have one more reader as
Yes,
end this. But I just wanted to go back to the exact phrase that describes Niyaz, right? So, yeah. So, what is Niyaz? Niyaz literally means but in its true sense, it refers to the lovers dancing to every tune of the perfect master. Master's Nas. This requires great preparedness on the part of the lover to live wholly and solely for the beloved and not for the ones for oneself. It's not easy to respond cheerfully to the beloved's Nas. Those lovers who are able to lead such a life are rare. So this is actually very, very, very interesting uh, concept that Baba is presenting through this Nas and Niyas. So let us all uh, hold on to his Daman and practice Niyas and, and be drawn closer to the flame and hopefully get united with the flame. Yeah. Very beautiful. I think it was very
um,
touching. Thank you for reading.
the,
One last reader for 8 minutes, or I will read. Yeah, Mamaji, you were saying something.
I I can
this takes me to what Baba used to put all the mandli in the beginning to
Yes.
obey his order,
Yes.
to obedience. So that is the number one aspect. So don't bring in your
Question.
ego. Don't try to explain. Don't try to interpret what I say. Just obey. That's what the Baba wants us to start with him.
Absolutely.
Hey, Baba.
I think it also is, I mean, all of us have experienced this. So, and we've also heard of accounts of people after coming to Baba, being going through very, very complicated life patterns and situations. All that is the real suffering that will help you in your sanskaric journey. And as lovers, our role is only to be niyas.
Yes,
That is, accept it, and be drawn closer and closer to Him in supplication and prayer. Very, very beautiful, very profound.
So,
Yeah,
Karthik, allow me to quote a line from a poem.
sure.
It's not from Baba's thing, but it's relevant here. Ask not to question why, ask but to do and die.
yes.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Shama Parvana.
Do and die in the flame. Yes, Shama
Yes.
Parvana. Hey, I think we are all in a soulful mood, so I will not continue reading. We will absorb what has been said in this analogy and soak that in and
Yes.
pick up the next section, Barbadi and Abadi, in the next week.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Jai
Yeah.
Baba.
But
I was
I
struggling so hard to
I
wanting to
think
read. My it was not getting unmuted, Then I quickly.
oh, okay.
It's okay, no problem. I'll
Yeah,
read next week.
yeah, I think next week, yes.
Yeah, just a little digression. Um, when I was at Samadhi, these words kept coming to my head, and as Baba family will share with. So the words came is I am complete in this most beautiful Meher Baba moment. I'm grateful and I'm happy. And I kept repeating this, and it makes me so happy to keep saying this all the time since I came from Samadhi. So just wanted to share that. Jai Baba.
आप तो समाधि में मेहराबाद आके रीच पहुंच गए आप।
आपको भी पहुंचा दूंगी।
धक्का दीजिए, धक्का दीजिए।
अब हम भाई सुनील जी को पहुंचा दीजिए बस।
सुनील जी
उनके
मैं
उनके नाज नहीं, उनको नाज के रिस्पॉन्स में नियाज कीजिए बस। और इज इट द अदर वे अराउंड? सुनील जी विल कंफर्म। आपके नाज में सुनील जी के नियाज।
वाह वाह वाह, यहाँ पे तो कुछ हालात ही खराब हो रहे हैं।
उर्दू छलक रही है आज।
Okay, I'll stop recording and then we can stick around for a bit. Yeah.
Let's go round and round.